We quickly move to data and results, and I have the pleasure to invite Michel Morin-Souroka and Gilles Bontemps. They will share their presentation on identification of day surgery best practices and European benchmarking exercise. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. I am Gilles Bontemps. I am MD and qualified in finance and organization, and presently I am associate director and the project leader for ambulatory surgery at the ANAP organization. ANAP organization is a French public national agency that provides public hospitals, private clinics, and public regional agencies with tools and recommendations that aim to lower cost, improve organization, increase efficiency and best practices. It depends on the French government.
I'm Michel Morin-Souroka. I worked at the French Authority Agency in Paris, and I am the head of the unit which assess different procedure, surgical, medical, biological procedure. And HAS is a public national authorities of quality and security which contributes to the regulation and of the health system by providing recommendation on quality.
The objectives, the general objective of this SAFE. First of all, in order to understand our presentation, you need to know the objectives and the basic principle of the day SAFE and the project. The general objective of the day SAFE, as Mr. Baccagliani pointed out at the time, is to improve patient quality and safety of hospital care through the promotion of day surgery practices and standards. Let us remember that day SAFE is co-founded by the European Commission under the program of community action in the field of public health. The main partner is Italy, and there are 9 associated partners: Belgium, Denmark, France, Hungary, Italy, Norway, Portugal, Romania, and Spain. I would particularly like to thank the teams of these 9 countries for their work on the project. And finally, I want to mention the IAAS.
This project was aiming first at identifying best day surgery best practices and standards, and secondly, at sharing the key points of patient management processes through infrastructure, equipment, and staff. 2 project leaders in France, ANAP and HAS.
And the method of the project. The project is based on the experience and outcomes from the French National Benchmark project. The French National Benchmark has brought interesting methods and results for the day SAFE. The principles of the method are: firstly, to identify the top 15 best performing hospitals in day surgery and the most representative in France, we used 5 objective criteria. Secondly, we've conducted an audit of these 15 hospitals. The audit lasted 4 days with 3 national experts and ANAP. All audits lasted 60 days with 300 face-to-face interviews. And thirdly, we benchmarked all audits and we found 281 breaks and levers. And after, we identify with experts the highlighted facts, and as a result, we've obtained 16 French guidelines.
To fulfill this objective, we carried out a survey based on the questionnaire, which combined both very precise closed questions and open discussion. We recommend that the survey was conducted in a depth face-to-face interview to catch every outline. And the questionnaires cover the following items: description of the surgery unit, organizational strategy, patient flow management, leadership and management, cultural factors. And we asked for extensive collection of additional data to have more data and illustration. Next one. The identification of the hospitals were performed by the 9 associated partners. Each associated partner has to select 2 or 3 units. Selection was based on those criteria: high activity and high day surgery rates, and day surgery units should be representative of the diversity of the organization and the practices. So we have to propose multidisciplinary and mono-activity, public hospitals and university and private clinics, and various models designed for organizing this surgery. Few results. The sample was composed on 23 day surgery units in 21 hosting structures in 9 countries. Most of the selected day surgery units were public, and we have an equal distribution between university hospital, local or community hospital, provincial or regional hospitals. 18 highlights have been selected based on the result output of this European benchmark. Key facts and figures have been selected by experts, which propose potential leads to elaborate some recommendation, which is the next step. Today, we present only a part of these guidelines.
The general consideration. In the sample, you see that the hospital integrated day surgery unit are only 8. It represents only 35%. The self-contained unit, day surgery in the same building, the satellite unit, day surgery in another building, and the freestanding units are the majority. The guideline is to consider that autonomous flow should be the gold standard. And another fact, identify that high day surgery volume attracts a higher market share for hospitals and clinics. Official baskets of day surgery procedures are frequent in the sample and are defined by day surgery management teams or by health authorities. 2/3 of the sample have an official basket of day surgery procedures.
Although everybody agrees on the importance of continuity of care, networking between hospitals and primary care providers appears less developed. However, 100% of the patients either come back home with the operative report or have their GP send the reports. We have nevertheless one example from Spain, which set up a network which told us that the network exists between hospital and primary care, nurses and GP, for example. Another example was given by Italy on some specific surgical procedures.
The highlighted facts from results, the public policies. And now the result of the public policies. Public health authorities seems to be proactive in promoting day surgery through both incentives or punitive measures. Economic constraints and public deficit limitation are the cornerstone of day surgery development. Day surgery penetration leads to a decline in the number of inpatient beds. And now the current best practices. There is no unique architectural design for day surgery units across Europe. Major trends are short patient pathway, including fast track, autonomy, organization, and compact organization. As an illustration, most of the units have reclining chairs and cubicles to increase flexibility and short flows.
Patient information is critical across the whole process and the clinical pathway. And in the survey, it was shown that patients receive systematically information on the whole process. example, we have the leaflet from Portugal, which is very informative. A large majority of day surgery unit consider post-anesthesia care unit not necessary for some low-risk surgical procedure, such as carpal tunnel syndrome and cataract. But for example, in some, for example, as in France, fast tracking is not allowed.
There are two decision makers. The surgeon is a decision maker for patient selection, and the anesthesiologist confirms the decision. And head nurse is the decision maker for organization the day surgery unit. She plays a critical role. Many of day surgery units use a checklist to verify compliance with the instruction and guidelines. And the head nurse checks 60% of the sample. And the head nurse calls the patient the day after the organization in 61% of the sample. And now we are talking about draft recommendation. We are talking about 11 guidelines. It's only a short of the all guidelines. At first, day surgery should be considered as a public priority in every country. Consequently, health authorities should provide hospitals and clinics with greater transparency about goals and objectives of the future. Managing constraints, architectures, budget is a driver for the day surgery penetration. On the other hand, incentives should complement punitive measures to ensure success. At third, day surgery performance is based on flow control, physical flow or information flow. Day surgery patient pathway should be autonomous with a clear distinction between care and night accommodation. Performance is linked to patient-related risk management. Organizational design should take precedence over architecture and focus on autonomous and short patient pathways. And fast-tracking process is conceivable in some medical situation. And at last, high levels of the day surgery activity are the gold standards.
Patient is in the center of the process, so he has to participate in the decision-making process, and he should be kept continuously informed. As we showed you previously, nurses are the cornerstones of the management of the day surgery unit. Their role should be recognized, including a wider representation and delegation of authorities. Information provided to primary care providers is critical for continuity of care and has to be improved. However, discharge should not be considered as a transfer of responsibility from day surgery unit to general practitioner. They have to set up a cooperation. And we'd like to thank all the partners for their precious collaboration, because questionnaires were very well completed. It was a huge work, and there have been a lot of interesting data provided, and only just a part was presented today. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much.